So today we're going to cover the last and final part of Meera's Charitram. And first, let's start with the summary. So last week we saw that Meera got married, and then she went to the palace. And then Rana took her on a pilgrimage. And then after the pilgrimage, she have a satsang. So Rana built her like a temple specifically for Giridhari. And like some people were starting to spread rumors, so Rana told Meera to do her bhajans inside. The people wanted her back, so Rana said that she can do bhajans again in the temple. And then after that, Akbar, who was Rana's rival king, came and visited the temple in the disguise of sadhus. And he gave her a pearl necklace. And when they were going, they heard a rustle in the bushes, and we need to find out who that person is. That person was Jaiman, Rana's brother. He came in the castle with bloodshot eyes, and he knocked on the door like this. And then Rana knew it was Jaiman because no one would knock like this. Only Jaiman would. So we opened the door, and then left Jaiman inside. He was like, "What's wrong, Jaiman? What happened? Did something very bad happen? Can I solve it?" And then Jaiman said, "Our rival king had came, and he visited your queen." Rana didn't believe him at the start because, I mean, how could Akbar have came? There were so many defenses and like forts protecting the city. So like he didn't believe him. He said, "Liar, why are you lying that our rival king came and saw Meera? If this was another person, I would have chopped their head off by now. But since you're my brother, I didn't." Jaiman said, "How could you even talk to me like this? Don't you believe me? I'm your brother. Why would I do anything to harm you? I'm saying the truth." Rana didn't believe him. He said, "Are you sure? Or was it just some actual sadhu?" Jaiman said, "How could you not believe me after I said that I witnessed it and I saw Akbar give it to Meera?" Rana like a tiny percent of his heart started believing, but like 99% did not. So he's like, "Are you sure?" And then Jaiman said, You're never gonna believe me. No one here does. I'm just gonna leave the palace now." Rana said, "Okay, fine, I believe you." But it was too late. Jaimal had already left. Rana tried pulling his hand, but Jaimal just like left. Then Rana was angry now. And he ran to the temple that he built for Meera, and he knocked on the door aggressively too. And then the doors were closed so that like no mosquitoes would come in and like bite like the people who came for her bhajans. But when Meera heard Rana say, "Meera, open up!" Meera opened the door and let him in. All the townspeople looked so fearful. They parted, and then Rana went to Meera and said, "Where's the necklace? I know you have it." Meera didn't know. She said, oh, is it the necklace that you bought yesterday for Giridhari? Or the one that you bought day before? Rana said, no, I mean the pearl necklace. You know the pearl necklace? Huh? And he said sarcastically, of course you don't know. Why would you? And he said, show it to me already. He was thinking. And then she remembered the necklace that the two sadhus gave her. And she showed it to Rana, not knowing that that was the cause of his anger. Rana said, Jaimal was right. If I had trusted him earlier, and like, if you had not done this, then Jaimal would still be here. She asked, where's Jaimal? Where's your brother? And then he said, he's gone because of you. And Meera said, Maharaj, I saw two sadhus. I didn't see anyone else. I didn't know it was your rival king, if that was actually him. And then Meera was thinking, like, what does Rana mean by his rival king visited? Rana immediately grabbed the necklace from her and said, I'll prove that you're lying. And then he looked carefully in the necklace and he saw a small stamp from Akbar's country. And he said, see, what is this? Meera's jaw was open by now. She didn't even know what to say. And she was so scared. And since she was so scared, she just fainted. And when Meera woke up, it seemed she was in a prison. The walls were dark gray and there was no windows, so she could not see any sunlight. Two fearful looking guards were standing outside. And the thing that broke Meera's heart the most was that she had no companion. Giridhari did not come with her. So Meera was super sad. Meanwhile, the townspeople, they waited day after day, thinking that maybe Meera was sick, or maybe Meera's dressing up, or maybe she's dressing up Giridhari. And then they finally got to know that Meera was in the prison. And they started screaming outside the palace, Rana, let her out! Everybody started screaming, like millions of people were outside the palace and were like, Rana, let her out! Rana was annoyed of this, so he ordered the townspeople to stop talking about Meera and her bhajans. Some people were scared about what he would do and stopped, but other people were like in a big crowd and they were singing, Meera Prabhu Giridhari, Meera Prabhu Giridhari, Meera Prabhu Giridhari. And Rana was annoyed of this, so he punished them. And like, that's the townspeople said. Meanwhile, in jail, Meera was sad. Everybody in the town was sad, except for one person. Well, you can guess who that is, Uda. Uda would always come to check on Meera and be like, hi, how are you doing in jail? Meera would listen patiently and then just tell Uda, can you just please bring Giridhari? I don't care if I'm in jail, just like, can you bring him? I can't live without him. He can't live without me. But Uda asked Rana, but he blankly said no. He did not listen to what Meera wanted. And while Uda was trying to get Rana to give Giridhari to her, Rana was thinking of a plan. He was thinking, maybe we should kill Meera. But if he kills her, then the townspeople will be able to know that he committed a murder. And they will not trust him anymore. They'll probably like move somewhere else. So he planned that he planned that there should be like a snake in a box, and he and Uda is going to give it to Meera and say, this is a salagrama. Giridhari took form of it because the king said that Giridhari was not allowed out of the temple. I mean, it would not be good if Giridhari was in the prison, would it be? And so that plan was in action. Uda went to Meera and said, "Here, dear, I have the salagramam, and Giridhari took form." Meera was so happy. She said, "Giridhari, have you come to me?" And then she opened the box. Instead of a snake popping out, there was indeed a salagramam inside it. So Meera put it on, and then she started chanting Nama, and she was happy as ever again. Rana and Uda were very confused. They're like, how could this be? I could have sworn I put a snake in there. Did someone switch it? Yeah, that must have been it. So his next plan was to give Meera poisoned milk. Now, speaking of poisoned milk, we can remember this in Bhagavatam when Putana gave Krishna poisoned milk too. The same thing happened to Meera, except it was like milk in a glass. Rana mixed some poison in it, and then he put like some white powder or something so that it would look still like pure white milk. Then Uda went to Meera again and said, "Here, dear, I have milk because you haven't eaten in so many days. The king told me to give it to you." Meera said, "But Giridhari hasn't ate anything. Can you please give it to him? And then if he wants, can you give it to me?" So Uda said, "Okay, dear." And she walked around the palace like 2 times so that it looked like she went to the palace. Then she went back to where Meera was kept and said, "I did Naivedyam to Giridhari. Now this is Giridhari's prasadam." Then Uda gave it to her. And Meera saw a dark layer of poison just rising with pure white milk. And she just got reminded of Krishna when he was a child, when he used to be like the dark blue color. She screamed, "Krishna!" and then drank the milk. She fainted. Uda thought she was gone, dead. So she went to Rana and said, I completed the task. She was like shivering because like she committed a murder. And Rana was about to tell the town that Meera had died a natural death when Uda came back rushing to Rana. Meera was alive. And the poison that was in the milk had turned to Amritam because of Meera's pure heart. Rana was just perplexed by this. He didn't know what to do next, and he just thought, okay, Meera has done a lot of bhakti to Krishna, so her bhakti is very strong, so nothing can happen to her or will happen to her. So he finally, since all the townspeople on one side were screaming Meera, on the other side, Meera was never going to be gone. Rana just said, okay, he sometimes let her do bhajan in temple and sometimes put her back in jail. It was like in and out. So then all the townspeople were happy again and they were doing bhajans. And this time Meera had like a small schedule. In the mornings, there would be Prabodhanam and Bhagavatam, and like there'd be like breakfast and all because people can't like starve. And then in the evenings, there would be like bhajanam and dolotsam. So that's how like the schedule would be. In the afternoon, they just have like lunch. So Meera's life was back to normal a bit. And then Rana thought, okay, since we can't do anything, we'll just have to put her in like an abandoned, like kind of like an abandoned palace in a forest. Put Meera inside it and just give Giridhari to her. And so he did that the next day. He sent her bye-bye. And then and after a few weeks, Meera was just singing like bhajans inside the palace also because Giridhari was there. She was as happy as ever. And Rana did not even check up on her. And so like, this was Meera's new life. That's it. So like, one day some sadhus came to visit Chittor, but like they heard like they were singing Yamuna Tira Vihare Vrindavan Sanchari Govardhanodhari Yamuna Tira Vihare Vrindavan Sanchari Govardhanodhari. So the sadhus were singing, and then they stopped because they heard a small voice singing. around, and then they found a person in like dirty clothes sitting with like a Krishna, and she was singing to him. And they also came, and after she was done her song, they patiently waited, and they asked, "Mother, what are you doing here? Why are you in this forest alone?" Meera said, "It's my Lord's will. My Krishna only wanted me to be in this forest for some time." And then they realized immediately that this was Meera Mata. And they said, "Mata, what are you doing over here? You're supposed to be at the temple. Everybody's looking for you. People have thought you died." And then like they started talking for a while, and the sadhus were asking what you were doing here, who actually left you. Meera struggled to say that it was the Maharana who left her here. So she changed the topic, and now they were talking about like Krishna's leelas and how he like stole butter. And they changed the topic to like Mahabharatam and like Gita. And they were enjoying talking about these things. And they were also singing like bhajans. And like on the other hand, the Maharana was just wondering what happened to Meera. Did she die, or is she lost, or what happened to her? So he sent a spy to check on her, because of course he cannot go to check on her himself. And he was very happy when he got to know that she was in the company of sadhus. And Rana thought maybe what we did was too much. So the next day he called her to be set back. And the sadhus also came to the town. Rana said that Meera can do bhajans again. And so she started like singing all of them. And then it was close to Vijayadasami, it seems. So the Maharana asked Meera if she could sit beside him as his queen. Meera agreed, and like the day was coming up. On the day of Vijayadasami, Meera was getting dressed up. She kept on hearing like a flute sound, and she had to say to herself every 2 minutes, like, "Meera, focus. You have to sit beside the king today." and Meera was just like, she kept on thinking about the flute. And then she was thinking that she was a gopi getting dressed up for the Rasa Leela when gopis and Krishna dance. And she was trying so hard not to get herself distracted. But she heard that flute one more time, and like Krishna Bhaktas cannot control themselves when they hear a flute. So she lost it and then just ran to the temple and started singing to Krishna. By now a huge crowd had formed, and they were also singing. Rana was waiting. It was 8 a.m., then 9 a.m., then 10 a.m., then 1 a.m., and he 1 p.m. and then he was like waiting for so long. But Meera, there was no sign of Meera. So he asked some guards to check up on her and see if she was okay or something happened to her. And Rana got so mad hearing that Meera had gone to the temple and was singing bhajans. He was like, he said that he told the guards to threaten Meera to come and sit with him, or else he'll break the temple and it will go crashing to the floor. But the guards couldn't tell her because there's like millions of people just making like a line in the temple, and it was like impossible for them to reach her. And then they told this to the Maharana, and he was mad. He couldn't control his anger like always. And then he just ordered the temple to be broken down. And Meera was just singing with her eyes closed. And people were chanting, and people were singing, Govinda Giridhari, Gopal Giridhari. So they were singing like very loud and chanting while the temple was slowly broken down, and so there was some sadhus were suffocating, and Meera didn't see anything because she didn't realize it. And the entire temple was now like a dirt pile because it was broken down. And then Meera got hit by a rock and she fainted for some time. When she woke up, she saw the bodies of many sadhus. She couldn't take it. And Rana thought she was dead. Everybody in the town thought she was dead. Meera took a rope nearby and tied herself to Giridhari. And then in the nearby river that led to Vrindavan, she just jumped inside it, and the strong current just brought them. Once they had reached Vrindavan, Meera was unconscious because, of course, people who stay in the water for more than 5 hours or 6 are just unconscious. Then a sadhu in the morning came to do prabodhanam. He came to take a bath in the river Yamuna. And while he was taking the bath, he felt something hard hit his foot. He thought it was a rock, and then he felt some hair, or he thought it was seaweed. He didn't know what it was. Then he finally felt fingers, and he freaked out. He went inside the water to see who it was, and when he saw a little girl with something he couldn't really see, attached together. Then he called a bunch of sadhus to pick them up out of the water, and Meera was still unconscious. But when he saw the Krishna come out of the water, he said, Giridhari! By now, we should all know who this person is. It was none other than the Sant Raidas who gave her the Giridhari. He was now living in Vrindavan, having the time of his life until he got moksha. And he immediately took Giridhari and cleaned Giridhari up and put ornaments and jewels on him again. And Meera woke up. She didn't see Giridhari anywhere. She started screaming, Giridhari, where are you? She didn't know where he was. And then Sant Raidas was she saw him. And then she said, oh, there you are. And then in 5 minutes, she realized that was the Sant Raidas who gave her the Giridhari. She did namaskaram to him. And after that day, Meera told him her story and asked if she can just live in Vrindavan from now on because she'd already gone through too much. And from that day, Meera was also happy again. She'd always wished to live in Vrindavan, and she was finally living there. She stayed at Sant Raidas' house at the nights, and there was no fancy showers and all of that like we have now. They took a bath in the river Yamuna. And after a few months of Meera staying there, a few sadhus came by. Meera at first didn't talk to them because she was running around chasing after the cows because it seemed Giridhari was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the sadhus were asking. There was a maid of Giridharis who came. There's a maid of Krishna's who came over here, and I think her name is Meera. So Meera by now was running around. They didn't know who was running around. They thought it was just a small little girl. And they asked the sadhus, and they guided the new sadhus who came to Meera. Meera stopped and said, "I'm so sorry." She did prostration to them, and they immediately knew it was Meera. And they said, and they did namaskaram to her and asked, "It's so nice to meet you, Mata." Meera said, "Why do you want to meet this old lady? You can just meet Krishna. Krishna is much more worth meeting than me." And then they said, "We come to ask you for a favor. Can you please visit our town?" They were hoping for a yes. But Meera said, "Sorry, I would really like to come to your town, but I'm already living in Vrindavan now." The sadhu said, "Please, our town is also like a holy city. Our city is also a holy city." And then Meera thought about it and said, "First tell me what you want, and then I'll see if I can come." They said, "So there's been like a temple in our city that had not been opened for a long time, ever since Lord Krishna departed the world, and no one has ever opened it. And we know that only a Krishna Bhakta can open it, like a Krishna Bhakta who really loves Krishna and does bhajan to him every day." Meera was thinking and then asked, "Where's your city? And what is your city's name?" And then the sadhus happily answered, "It is Dwaraka, Mata." And then Meera said, "Oh, Dwaraka, where my Giridhari ruled for some time?" Then Meera said, "I'll come for a few days and then I'll have to head back." And then all the kings, not Rana, all the Rajput kings from other countries had set up like a small, so like they had some sadhus walking in front of Meera and the people so that they get protected in case a bear or wild animal came. And they had food arranged, and everything was arranged. And Meera was that day they were starting from Vrindavan to Dwaraka. It took them like 3-4 days because they're walking on foot, and they visited like a lot of cities, and they had the darshan of many sadhus, and finally they had reached Dwaraka. Meera was running around because she really wanted to see Dwaraka. She immediately knew that the large structure was Krishna's temple. But she thought that it looked a bit different now. She was thinking maybe it's because Krishna left the world a few years ago. And then Meera was thinking, that doesn't look like the temple that used to be. It used to be more like vibrant, right? Glowing. You know why it used to be glowing? there's like something that Ramoji said. It's like when Krishna was a child, when he was like playing hide and seek or something with his friends, when he was like hiding, his friends were able to catch Krishna and find out where he was in like an instant. You know why is that? Because Krishna always had this like blue beam like around him. So wherever he was hiding, behind a bush, or even in water, they saw like an unusual blue there. The same way, when Krishna was in Dwaraka, the temple used to have like a nice blue color, but now the blue had small like faded. Anyway, the sadhus were guiding Meera towards the temple, and they said, we've never gone on a step before here. We've only wished for a big Mahatma to open the temple. Meera said, I don't know if I'm that big of a sadhu and all, but I'll try. So she climbed up the steps. Everybody followed her, and she started singing many bhajans, hoping that the doors would open. Like, please, Giridhari, please open it for all of us, for Dwaraka, please. And then like after a while, Meera did like namaskar to the doors of the temple, and it finally opened. There was a blinding light that beamed outside. And then Meera went inside. The Lord was like this, like going to Meera for a hug. And after that, when Meera and the Lord had hugged, they finally merged. Not a lot of sadhus saw this, but some did, and it was the most beautiful sight in the world. And that's the end of Meera's story. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam.
Yeah.